AI image generators are not only evolving rapidly, sometimes making images indistinguishable from photos, but there are also new services that deserve your attention. This may confuse you because the choice is getting too big. Today, I will show you 5 different realistic image generators. You can try each of them for free. In the first half of the video, I will show you how to access and use each generator, and then we will compare them side by side under similar conditions. The first image generator I'm going to show you is called Reve. Go to preview.rev.art to access it. Links to all the services mentioned here will be in the description. After creating an account, you'll get into Explore section. If you open account settings, you'll see that there are 100 initial free credits and you'll have 20 daily credits. Each image costs 1 credit. Generation process is very simple and really fast. There is no different additional settings and tools. You should describe what you want to see on the generated pictures as detailed as possible. There are no predefined styles, so you have to specify it in your prompt. Here is aspect ratio adjustment. You can generate up to 8 images at once. Prompt Enhance will make your prompt more detailed, which can make the result better, especially if your prompt is short and too basic. And seed value should work in the same way as in other generators like Stable Diffusion, for example. If I set some number, images in different generations will be more similar. Auto means that this number is different for each generation, so probably there will be more difference between generated images. Here are my images. Double-click to zoom each image and click one more time to see it full screen. Okay, probably this is not the best image I've ever gotten here, but I like the lighting and overall atmosphere. And there are 3 other pictures. When some image is selected, you can see 2 options: Instruct and Edit Prompt. If I select Edit Prompt, I'll see the actual prompt this images was created with. It's different from the prompt I entered because Prompt Enhance option is enabled. You can change this prompt or some of these settings and create more images. Instruct option allows you to specify which aspect of the image you want to change without the need to change whole prompt. For example, my instruction is, make the image brighter, but you should not expect that the consistency of the objects will be saved. The difference between original and generated images is obvious. Image-to-image feature works not like in other image generators. You can just add your image here, and then selected number of images will be automatically generated. Aspect ratio of the created images will be copied from the reference. And if you previously entered some prompt and then uploaded image, the prompt won't affect the generated pictures. Okay, here is another example with different reference image. As you can see, the dress on the generated images is not 100% the same as on the original picture. And don't forget that if you want to save images in full quality, you should zoom image and then use this download button. The next service I want to show you is Runway, which is known as one of the best AI video generators. But there's also image generation tool. On the free account, you'll have 125 free initial credits, so you'll be able to create around 15 images. This generator has little bit more options than Reve. Here I'll enter my prompt. There are 2 additional features. I'll show you how the references work in the next generation. Now I'll select some of these predefined styles. Aspect ratio adjustment. Aesthetic range increases the difference between the generated images. Here's seed value. And you can generate 1 or 4 images at once. Generation process will take longer than in Reve AI. Here is the result. By clicking on image, you'll see all the generation info, and you can create variations, generate video from this picture, or add it to the References tab. Here is how the References feature work. You can add up to 3 images. For example, characters and places. You can give some name to your character to save it and use in different generations. Pictures with people can be used to create consistent characters, and images with some places are for creating environment around the character from reference. Since my character has a name, I can mention her in the prompt. This woman should stand amidst the highway during the storm. I'll disable style preset. Okay. And aspect ratio will be 16:9. The result is pretty good. All the generated images are really similar to the references. The character looks like it almost the same person each time. You can also use single image of a character and describe all the other details of the image in your prompt. Okay, for some reason this generation was blocked. I set number of images to 1 and it helped. Wow! Honestly, I'm impressed by this result. I didn't expect that the character will look 100% the same as on the reference. Google has 2 separate tools for image generation. One of them is regular image generator, ImageFX, based on Imagen 3 model. It isn't available worldwide yet, so I use American VPN to access it. For example, I want to get images of a pilot inside his Formula 1 racing car. Here are additional words you can add to the prompt to create some styles and effects. In the Settings tab, you can see the seed value, which works a little bit different from other image generators. And of course, aspect ratio adjustment. You'll get 4 images in one generation by default. My images are ready. I specified that this is Red Bull Formula 1 car, and on the first and fourth images, the Red Bull logo is clearly visible. Yes, the rest of the text on the car in almost all cases looks messed up, but overall quality of the images is pretty good. Nice. Now I want to show you how to create consistent characters here. First of all, you have to provide description of the appearance of your character. The prompt should be as detailed as possible. I want to get images of a medieval prince. All the generated images have something in common, but this is not the same person. So after creating description of your character, you have to lock the seed value so the person on each image will be almost the same. As you can see, the result is more consistent. Yes, style of the mustache and beard is still a little bit different, but in such cases, detailed prompt can help, or you can simply make few generations in a row and select the best results. Second, Google's image generation tool is Whisk. It has few additional features similar to what we saw in Runway. You can add image with some object or character, picture with environment and style reference. I'll leave style reference placeholder empty, and I won't add any prompt, because I just want this girl to appear on the image with storm and highway. In the settings, you can see the seed value and select model. In ImageFX, you can use only Imagen 3 model, but here's Imagen 4 available too, which can probably create even better images than version 3. I almost forgot to mention that Google's image generation tools are pretty strictly censored. This becomes obvious when you try to create images with women. The generation can be cancelled for no reason, like in this case. I received only 1 image instead of 2. I think in Runway references option works better because it allows you to create consistent characters from the reference image. But here, the girl on the generated picture is not similar to the reference. You can use refine option to change some parts of the image. I wanted to make this girl smile. Okay, the girl changed pose, but the consistency of the character on these 2 images is obvious. Nice. And what if I add one of the images I created in Runway to the style reference section? There's no so much difference, but you can see the water drops on the body of the girl this time. And if I'll try to use this night as reference, you'll see that night on the generated images isn't the same. So this reference tool can be useful if the consistency of the objects is not really important. The 4 realistic image generation tool I want to show you is Ideogram AI. Here you'll have 10 weekly credits, which means around 15 high-quality images. Here is Creation tab, and in the Explore tab you can see images created by other users, so you can reuse their prompts and other settings for your generations. I'll enter my prompt. All the generations are public on free account. Here's aspect ratio setting. The latest version of the image generation model is 3. When this model is selected, the generation costs 4 credits. If I'll select one of the older models, it will be cheaper, of course. And here you can see render speed setting, which should be called quality adjustment because default means medium quality, turbo means lower quality but faster generation, and the quality option will provide the highest quality, but the generation will cost 6 credits in this case. Magic prompt will enhance your image description like in other generators. And obviously, style will be realistic. Plus, there are some predefined color palettes. You can create your own only with paid subscription. Negative prompt and seed value editing options are unavailable on the free account too. Okay, let's finally create my images. As you can see, face and hands look really nice on the first image. In other cases, faces have some imperfections, which is typical for AI-generated images with human faces placed on some distance from the viewer. So I'll try to make the character closer to the camera. This time, faces should look better. First picture is just perfect as for me. On the next 2 images, the woman is obviously over 25 years old, but overall quality is great. Unfortunately, image-to-image option is also paid, so that's all I can say about Ideogram AI. And of course, the most famous one among these services is ChatGPT 4.0. Now you can create up to 3 images per day without paid subscription. You can describe the image you want to get in the way you want. Or you can use some reference image with corresponding instructions. The quality of the images created by ChatGPT is really high. But there's one thing I hate about this generator. It's easy to spot which picture is created by ChatGPT because there's some yellow tint. Even after I asked it to make winter version of this image, you can see that image is still a little bit yellow. Let me know in the comments if you have some ideas why this happens. My theory is that this was made intentionally, so if you'll try to create fake image with real people or places and use it as is, it will be obvious that this image generated in ChatGPT. But there are few ways how to get rid of this yellow tint. First of all, you can edit already generated images, but it can be hard to do if you have lots of different images. You can get images without unnecessary yellow colors inside ChatGPT using special words in your prompts. I'll use the same prompt I used before, but here I'll specify that color temperature is 9000 K. The image is too dark, but even now you can see that there is no yellow tint at all. Nice if I'll recreate this image, but 9000K will be replaced with 7000K. Image is brighter, and here's still no annoying yellow color. You can search for color temperature charts. Values higher than 6000K mean cool light. This method works good if you specify both the strength of the lighting, for example, bright sunlight, and color temperature. What about realistic character consistency in ChatGPT? I'll use the same image I used in Runway as character reference, and I'll ask it to recreate this image, but girl should look surprised. Yes, lots of details look the same, but this girl is not really similar to the reference as for me. Runway did better job. Okay, I'll make second attempt. The girl should be in swimming pool, and her face should be serious. The face of the girl is just little bit similar to the reference, plus she looks like she didn't sleep all the night. So probably ChatGPT will work better if you'll create some cartoonish consistent characters with lower amount of small facial details. As I promised, now I'll compare all 5 mentioned generators in similar conditions. First, let's see how these services will create extreme close-up portraits. I selected the best image from each generation. Google's image generator did the worst job. It's pretty easy to spot that this is AI-generated picture. I created it with Imagen 3 model because Imagen 4 generated even less realistic images. ChatGPT 4 created better image. Skin texture and face details aren't too sharp and flat like on the previous image. I cannot find any obvious artifacts or imperfections on the image created in Ideogram AI. All the details and lighting look cinematic. Image created in Runway also looks great. Character looks like this is real person. His eyes don't look into nowhere, like on the picture created by ChatGPT. 2 previous results were great, but probably Reve created the most detailed and realistic skin texture. The only thing is that this defocus effect on the nose could be more realistic as for me. So I definitely can say that Ideogram AI, Runway, and Reve are the best for creating realistic close-up portraits. But lots of generators have the same problem with creating faces on some distance from the camera. Here's the result. Ideogram AI created image with obvious creepy artifacts on the woman's face. Fingers don't look good too. Image by ChatGPT doesn't look really bad, but when you zoom in, face looks like it's some drawing. Face on the image created with Runway is little bit unclear, and here are problems with nails on both hands. Reve created almost the same imperfections on the face and hands, but image doesn't look completely spoiled. Google's Imagen 3. Not bad, I should say. At least I'm not scared looking at the woman's face. As you can see, all the generators has the same problems with creating clear faces and hands when the person is not really close to the camera. But probably ChatGPT did it better the other 4 services. Now let's see how each service will generate hands. I asked each one to create images with 5 hands forming a star shape. Only image created with Google's Imagen 3 has missing finger phalanx. In all other cases, hands look nice. ChatGPT and Reve actually created 5 hands forming a star shape. But you should understand that none of these generators can create hands with right number of fingers all the time. For example, this image by ChatGPT is my 3rd attempt to get what I want. Another prompt I want to test is front view of a man in the forest waving with both his hands. I'm really impressed, to be honest. All the services did pretty good job. I can't say anything bad about any of these images. The 4th test is to compare how each generator will work with complex prompts when there are lots of different objects on the scene. Here's my prompt. Images should have 2 guys and 2 girls sitting on the beach around bonfire. Girls should wear sundresses. 1 guy holding a stick with marshmallow. The sky is a little bit pink and orange, and it's getting darker, and some stars are visible now. And there should be ship on the distance in the water. Runway created almost perfect image. All the elements I mentioned in the prompt are here. There is just additional stick with marshmallow in the bonfire. ChatGPT also did good job. There's no unnecessary or missing details. Ideogram created additional sticks with marshmallow and second ship, and all the faces are spoiled at all because people aren't close to the camera. Reve created not bad image in terms of prompt correspondence. I like that there's some action in this scene, but faces aren't really clear. And I used Imagen 4 model to get this image. For some reason, all the people holding sticks with marshmallow. But it's not bad result at all. I think the best images created ChatGPT and Runway. These images have the best quality, and they correspond my description. In the next test, I'll try to create images with real people, real existing brands and objects like cars of some brand, and of course, existing places. For example, I tried to create images of Tom Cruise wearing black suit standing amidst the desert. Pictures created in Reve and Ideogram look really great. Runway and Google's image generation tool didn't create any images because such prompts violate their content policies. The next example is Ford Mustang, branded with Coca-Cola and Microsoft logos. I didn't specify if it should be new versions or retro car, so it's different on different images. The only generator which has partially failed this task is Runway. Here's Mustang with Coca-Cola logo and colors, but I didn't get any image with Microsoft logo in this generator. All the other services did pretty good job this time. All the things I mentioned in my prompt are here. And what about real places? New York or Paris probably will be too easy. So I decided to create images of Ukrainian Lviv city. Here's how this city looks in reality. Architecture is pretty similar to what you can see in Poland or Czech Republic. Ideogram created the right atmosphere and style of the architecture, but you won't find any of these buildings in Lviv. ChatGPT, on the opposite, tried to create the real buildings you can find in this city, but overall, quality is not really high. Image by Google's Imagen 4 model is also really close to what you can see on the photos. Quality and small details are much better than on previous picture by ChatGPT. I got not bad result in Runway. It's not 100% similar to actual place I wanted to create. And if you zoom in, you'll see that the windows and other details of the buildings are unclear. And probably I can say the same thing about the image I got in Reve. It's a little bit hard to choose the winner because ChatGPT recreated real existing buildings, but the quality is lowest among all 5 results. Google's image generator is on the 2nd place in terms of accuracy, but the quality is much higher than in 4 other cases. All other services created right architecture style only. Let's summarize everything we've recently learned. Google's image generator has probably the most generous free plan because it doesn't have any strict limits on number of images you can create per day. The only services which allow you to create consistent characters are Runway and image generation tools from Google. If you ask ChatGPT to create image with the same character as on the uploaded picture, the result won't be really consistent. Google's image generator allows you to create consistent characters only with prompts, so you can't use some image as character's face reference. As you can see, almost all the services still have problems with creating human faces on some distance from camera. Surprisingly, the only generator which partially failed task with hands is Google's image generator. I tried to use 3rd and 4th versions of Imagen, but the best image I got still had problems with fingers. All the services did pretty good job when I tried to create complex scene, except Ideogram AI, which multiplied different mentioned objects, and faces of the people were completely spoiled. No one failed the test with real places and brands, but there are restrictions on creating images of real people in Google's generator and Runway. ChatGPT could become winner in this test, but the quality of the generated picture of Lviv city was much worse than all the other results. In conclusion, I can say that it's hard to find perfect universal service for all possible cases. But I hope this video helped you to understand the difference between these tools and define which ones are suitable for your goals.